Hello, everyone, and welcome again. I just find it completely comical and hilarious as the fallout does seem to be continuing from the Democratic Party as well as the DNC slash Kamala Harris and Walt's campaign efforts. Obviously, it was a disastrous turnout, disastrous results, and really there's nothing positive that they could point to, which is actually pretty hilarious considering the amount of money that was pulled in from their campaign efforts. And this is actually what leads me into this article that I found over in The Guardian, which I think it's actually quite it's actually quite hilarious considering, obviously it's going to deal with some people getting layoffs, but I mean, in all honesty, that's to be expected because they lost. And it starts off with union calls Democratic Party staff layoffs after record fundraising callous. So as we just start off here, the union representing workers at the Democratic National Committee, or the DNC, has accused the party's leadership of a callous betrayal of the party's values after the sudden announcement of layoffs of permanent employees without severance. I'm actually surprised that there's a thing called permanent employees within government. And in a way, I'm not too surprised of that. Despite record breaking fundraising, the DNC failed to provide any financial support for those who have tirelessly served the Democratic Party and its mission, said the union in a press release, which is here. I'm not going to go into it, but you could find this article at The Guardian. But essentially, it just kind of summarizes what I'm going to keep reading here. They compared the lack of severance to laid off employees with the Harrison Waltz campaign, which provided 3 weeks of severance to laid off employees. These cuts go far beyond the typical campaign turnover and impact employees who were previously told their positions would be retained after the election, the union claimed. I'm heartbroken. These are single parents, these are new parents, these are recent graduates. You can ask any laid off employees, friend or family, and they will vouch for the toll this job takes on you. You already give up so much when you decide to work for this organization, and now they're taking our financial security as well, said a former DNC staffer and union member who was one of the workers laid off. I will say this: when you sign up for anything like a campaign effort, I mean, campaigns by virtue they end, right? They're only a campaign is only for a set amount of time. For you to think that it's even something permanent is kind of interesting to say the release. I've never seen a campaign that just kind of continues. Campaigns are meant to end, right? It's not ongoing. So that's one thing. And then the other aspect of this is, the whole kind of permanent. I mean, it's like, really? There's a 50 and 50% chance you're either going to win or you're going to lose. Now, obviously, the Democratic Party thought they were going to win. But even with all those campaign staffers, I know a lot of them like to think, oh, if we're on the winning side, then they're just going to shoehorn you into some sort of random governmental position. That's actually what indeed happens to a lot of these people. But when the opposite happens, which is in this case, it turns out to be a disaster, well, guess what? Then you don't have a job. They requested to remain anonymous for fear of retaliation from future job prospects, like something cozy. Losing an election does not absolve the organization of its responsibility to treat workers with basic dignity. So I actually wanted to play this. I think most of you have seen how much this campaign has literally spent, but it actually turned out to be a lot more. But let me go ahead and play this.
Lindy Lee is a Democrat donor and member of the DNC's National Finance Committee. Are you hearing that too, that people might not donate as much anymore? Why?
Absolutely. Jesse, thank you so much for having me. And I said on Fox a couple of days ago that it was a billion-dollar disaster. I made a mistake. It was a $2 billion boondoggle because I failed to mention that close to $1 billion was raised for the super PAC as well for Future Forward, in addition to the $1 billion that was raised for the campaign.
So they have literally, within a couple of months, essentially just wasted $2 billion, it sounds like. Now, I actually probably think it's somewhere a little bit less than that, but I mean, give or take a million or two here. So regardless, it is comically horrendous. And they're just lining people's pockets. And, that I'm not even getting into the portion of, which we'll get into in just a second. I'll let it play with the whole celebrities and paying them for endorsements, which is disgusting in itself.
We need serious accounting, and to find out why $4 million went to private jets, millions of dollars went to celebrities, why Oprah was paid $1 million. And don't give me that spiel about how Oprah didn't take personal payment. She could have said, I will make an in-kind contribution and not take the $1 million. She made a conscious decision to take that $1 million payment. So it's totally on her.
So you're running the finance team at the Democrat National Committee. And when you hear these reports, we had a guest on the other day, Wolf of Wall Street, says this looks like a money laundering operation.
It's insane. We spent $450,000 on the sphere. Do you really think that resonates with working class families around America? These people are hurting from cumulative price hikes, and you're putting your face on a giant ball? You really think that's going to make the difference? And AOC is right. Trump is constantly reminding folks that he feels their pain. And he understands. In the meantime, my party is unwilling to say that we need strong borders. We need secure borders. And I'm speaking as a naturalized American myself. My family waited in line. I didn't storm the southern border. We came through JFK Airport. We applied to be American citizens. And that's a way that you should do it. No one is entitled to be American. Being American is a privilege. It's not a right.
You sound like you have a lot in common with Donald Trump. You might want to change parties, Lindy.
Well, I wish he can come around on the environmental front. There are certain things, there is certain common ground, and that's why we can't keep demonizing the other party. For example, Congressman Seth Moulton had the courage to voice his own opinion. You may or may not agree with him, but he said that men have no business playing in women's sports. Some people are sympathetic to him, but he should not be vilified and ostracized the way he is. People are even threatening to, kick him out of office.
All right, let's make a deal. Lindy, I'm going to promise that Trump is going to protect the environment, and then you could join the RNC and give us all your money.
Let's talk. Have your people talk to my people.
All right, we'll talk. I'll have Johnny talk to your many people. I only have one person. Thank you so much. Good to see you.
You see, that just kind of summarizes, what had happened there, right? And let me actually just go a little bit further with that article, because obviously that best summarizes kind of what's going on here as it relates to, staff members being laid off, right? But let me go on a bit further, because I just wanted to wrap up my thoughts here. Over 100 staff at the DNC voted to unionize with Service Employees International Union Local 500 in January 2022. Workers were notified at night on the 13th November of the layoffs, according to the press release. The union claimed that the DNC had not disclosed to the union the full extent of the layoffs or if additional cuts were planned. The former staffer argued that nothing in the union contract precludes the DNC from providing severance and transparency regarding layoffs. How could we have raised record-breaking numbers and still find ourselves in this situation? They added. Yeah, that's kind of a like how do you spend that amount of money in such a short period of time? Unless you're just lining people's pockets, you're lining celebrities' pockets to buy endorsements. You're just throwing money and hard-earned money, right? Because a lot of these people, I have donated, not any time as of late, but there was a time where I did donate, and they have literally never stopped emailing me / sending me push notifications through the phone to this day. It was one of the worst and just egregious efforts I've ever even saw, like, vote now, democracy's on the line. And, it kind of makes sense where I guess that's where $1 billion goes to push notifications, to hardworking Americans as well as, celebrities and kind of whatnot in these kind of hedge funds just taking money. Anyway, I kind of digress, so let me go a bit further. The press release claimed the DNC leadership had not been responsive to the wake of the layoffs and criticized the layoffs in contrast to the staff management whose decision created this situation. Remain on payroll. And that's right. The leadership is still there, right? So the actual head of the snake is actually, the individuals who line all the, there's their friends' pockets, and they're still going to get paid, even though it was literally, their direction that got the DNC into this position. Literally, they need to fire everyone who's in the leadership in the DNC, because essentially they're the ones who got these people in this position. Every cycle, political organizations scale up to meet the demands, and as the cycle comes to a close, it's a tough reality of our industry that we must part with talented, hardworking staff. A DNC spokesperson said in a statement to the Guardian, and that's kind of like what I said earlier, right? Campaigns, obviously, when you're scaling up, you hire a bunch of people, and then when you finish a campaign, essentially you fire everyone, or almost everyone. That's essentially how they're wrapping up here. They claimed per the Warren Act, staffers were notified 60 days in advance of the termination, that 95% of the staffers laid off were cycle hires. They also claimed that all union contract terms were upheld and that the DNC union and the DNC management had been in communication, adding that the current DNC staff were focused on the transition ahead of the new DNC chair election early next year. Ongoing fundraising, I just love that. Ongoing fundraising and infrastructure upkeep and holding Trump's Republican Party accountable, meaning, hey, we still got, you still give us money so we could line the pockets of our upper management as well as buy more celebrity endorsements, because Lord knows that's what they need, more celebrity endorsements with your hard-earned cash. Now, without going too much further, I did want to kind of wrap up there, but I just thought this was, completely. It's just kind of a hilarious situation that the DNC finds itself into. In all honesty, they rolled out a terrible candidate, a terrible vice president with the Walton Harris campaign, throwing out ads like "I'm a man." If you don't know what I'm referring to, just check out ridiculous campaign ad of "I'm a man," and stuff like that is the reason why they lost. But let me know your thoughts. Love to hear what everyone else is thinking. All right, see you next time.